Good morning. May 2nd, 2024. Back at it with the All In Within crew. Just keep on pushing, keep on building on what what our foundation has been as far as personal growth, being our best selves, and elevating the world in the process. We got Patrick, Aaron, Brandon, and Kevin here, and today's topic is neuroscience and the principles that are involved within the personal development paradigm, personal development field. So I'm just gonna give a quick overview of neuroscience, and then we're just gonna jump into some topics as it pertains to personal development and the growth mindset for us humans. So neuroscience is the study of the nervous system, including your brain, your nerves, your spinal cord, all that, all those areas of your body, and explores these intricate networks of the cells called neurons that communicate with each other through electrical chemical signals. By understanding how the brain works at the cellular and molecular level, we can aim to unravel the mysteries of our brain when it comes to perception, behavior, learning, memory, and other complex functions. So if you want to sound smart to somebody, just say, hey, what's the neuroscience behind it, right? So we'll start out. I got a few basically areas where it pertains to personal development. I got 5 of them here: neuroplasticity, mindfulness, emotional intelligence, growth mindset, and stress management. I'm going to give a little descriptor on each, and we'll go around and I just want to, let everybody kind of put their 2 cents in on what they've been experiencing, because we all have been reharnessing our brain, taking back the power when it comes to our own cognition, our own thought patterns, and ditching what doesn't work for us and magnifying, amplifying what does. So I'll start right out with neuroplasticity. Now, this is your brain's ability to recognize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your life. So these principles can emphasize that we can change our brain chemistry, our brain makeup through experiences, learning, and practicing. By engaging in new activities and learning new skills, we can reshape our brain and enhance our capabilities. So with that, rewiring the brain basically is what I'm getting at. And without really kind of taking it in any direction, I'm going to go to Patrick with
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm gonna get into the I believe you said stress management. Is that what you said, the last one?
Yeah. Yep. You can get the stress management.
Okay, well, this is huge because finding calmness, that's what I'm searching for lately, is bringing in calmness into my life, and not being so, I guess, having that kind of that RPM reader that's your RPMs are high kind of deal, right? You're just kind of jacked up about things that don't really need your energy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then that will cause hints of mental stress, and I find that it kind of pulls you back. It pulls you back a little bit. So, you know, taking that time out to be like, hey, I don't really have to put out so much energy into this particular spot or this situation because it's doing me no good. It's not progressing me. Like if you're, even whatever area it's in, if you focus too much on something, you're going to cause tension for
Mhm.
yourself, and tension brings discomfort, and I'm talking in your soul and your heart kind of deal, right? So for me lately, um, actually, not, I mean, very, very recently, finding a little bit of stillness and calmness to, in your moments so you can, really get into where you're at and evaluate your surroundings. Evaluate your surroundings, know where you're at, because when you're in the moment, there's just that, and your mind can go, your mind can be all over the place, but you're only right here. So be focused on just where you're at in that moment, that given moment, and don't bring you know, so much of that unneeded energy in towards you type deal. It just creates a kind of an imaginary wall that is not needed, right? It's just not needed. So if you can kind of eliminate some of your thoughts that aren't helping you. If they're not helping you in a positive way, just drop it. You
Mhm.
have to learn how to be able to drop. You have to learn how to be able to drop things, because another door will open, and we've all been. And this is the proof. Okay, this is the proof. Just an example. We've all been through relationships and all had broken hearts. But as time went by, you met somebody else, and that memory, that is gone,
Fades.
and it's gone.
Mhm.
And all that energy you put you know, um, into that place where it wasn't needed, you find out it really wasn't needed. It really wasn't needed to be able to let go. And it's very common. Let go, let go, let go. Well, even in your dailies, hey, dude, let go of that. I mean, it's hindering you. Let go, move on. Something's going to come around the corner, you know. And that's where I'm at, to open up here, is just take a breath, take a breath, and if something's really affecting you, take a quick look at it, analyze it quickly, and see where you're at with it, and let it go. Let it go. A lot of the times, to let it go and move forward. So that's what I got, buddy. That's what I got.
Yeah, if I'd like to add something to that, identifying when you get into that thought pattern that doesn't work for you, and having a tool or a more empowering thought to, have the awareness to identify, hey, okay, Aaron, stop. You're thinking about garbage right now, or your way of
Yeah.
thinking is garbage. Think of something empowering, right? Because usually those thoughts that don't work for us aren't empowering. They don't get us anything. They might.
Oh, we cut out. Oh, something happened there.
right? And that just doesn't serve you. And then with the stress management, I mean, the mental health disorders and the decreased cognitive performance, it's just they all just always goes hand in
Well,
hand. So
that too. And what about a positive outlook saying to yourself, hey, what about this search for something greater? You know, like what's out there that's even better? Why are you stagnant or dwelling on something here? Why aren't you after more? Why aren't you looking at a more wider horizon and saying, hey, there's way more out there. Don't lock yourself down on something that is not, making you feel better. Why not? What about the universal search? The universal search where you're like, hey, what else is out there? Like, I want to explore and find, what else is, I guess, what else is God out there for me? Let's go.
yep.
Let's go. Let's get this. Let's go check out some other. Why can't, a more positive, calm outlook where it's like, hey, there's way more out there. Way more.
So
Way
much.
more. It's like there's so much, it's infinite. And we get locked down on something that,
Keeps
later
you in
on
a
in life you go,
bottle.
man, why
Yeah.
who's ever done this? Look back and go, man, why was I so jammed up on that?
Right.
I've done it multiple times.
Usually
Multiple.
when
Look
that
back and go,
happens,
man,
I'm like,
yeah,
I am like, okay, Aaron, in 4 hours, you're going to be back to normal. So why don't we just short circuit to that moment because you're going to get there anyways
Right.
instead of stewing in that bullshit, right? Stewing in it
yeah. Oh,
is
stewing,
that's the mark of a
and
pro. That's the mark of a pro. If you can like, okay, yeah, somebody, backed up into my car in the parking lot. It is what it is. I don't know who it
yeah,
is. I'm just gonna go straight to the solution here, call up my insurance or whatever, and get my car back normal. You know, maybe
yeah.
ask the store if
And
they got
and when
cameras. That's about it.
yeah, but when you're walking around like that, your energy is not open. Your energy is in a closed state.
Oh,
You're not, yeah, yeah. So you want to be in a place where it's like, okay, you've dealt with that. Let's move forward and be grateful that you
okay.
get to keep walking. Be grateful that you're just able to put one more fucking step in front of the other and
I mean,
find
yeah,
something else. And find
gratitude.
something else. What? Be grateful for having the opportunity to find something else. Wow. That's mystery. Mystery and then it brings all sorts of different
Yeah,
um
it just opens up
different
a
things.
world of positivity and
Yes.
drawing good things in. So yeah, good stuff,
Yes.
dude.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So yeah, don't be so for me, like, don't be so closed off. Really, live and learn, and I got to bring love into it. Got to bring a little bit of love into it and take out the good.
Yep.
Take out the good and say, hey, what was good about that? And I'm going through a little bit of something right now, but the person said to me, well, take our good memories and take our good memories, and we think about that, and it really kind of hit me. I was like, whoa, okay, okay. So what about the good?
Yep.
You know? So that's where
Exactly.
I'm at, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'd
Well,
like
I
to
got
go
yeah, you want to go?
now. Oh,
I
no,
was gonna
go
get
ahead, Aaron.
I was gonna give you a different one. I was gonna give you a different
Okay.
topic, Aaron. Um well-being, mental clarity, within mindfulness and neuroscience research suggests that mindfulness can promote structural changes in the brain associated with improved attention, emotional regulation, and stress resilience. So, Aaron, you're always kind of talking about mindfulness and everything. So, would you want to share a little, even if it doesn't
Yeah.
pertain to exactly neuroscience, just yeah, if you want
Well,
to go on the topic of mindfulness.
I'm trying to be mindful as much as possible. And I
Yes.
find myself slipping into resentment, you know, and that has been a challenge for me, and it can be really destructive. And so when I find myself being resentful and blaming or accusing, I just know that I have to switch it up, you know, because right now I'm going through a breakup. I love her, you know, I'll love her till death. And
Yeah.
because we're breaking up, maybe that's the way we could stay together or stay friends, or you know, I got to look at it from a positive place, because I'm being resentful and then in my head, and then mindfully thinking about my thoughts and saying that's not reality though. That's not the truth. That's just your personal opinions. Those are not facts, you know. And so it's kind of like falling to my lower self and like being kind of wretched. I don't want to
Are
be
you have
that.
resentment towards her or just the
Yeah,
situation?
yeah, yeah, a little bit, because you know I didn't want the breakup at all. I mean, she's told me she's loved me a million times over, and actually bought these stupid coffee cups. I don't even want to get into all the little things, you know,
Yeah.
because I woke up today and I caught myself going there, and I said, no, no, not today. We're not going to spiral down. Gratitude. I'm just happy and grateful that I'm alive. Okay, we'll start simple and let it build. And you know, I'm to the point again where I spiral, and that's not a good place. I just know it, and so I'm thinking about. I think I should get the self talk app again, because that neuroplasticity is so real, man, and it
It
like
is.
gets the creative
It is,
juices
dude.
going. And so when you listen to positive self talk, you don't. It's just like you don't have to. You could be mindlessly listening by and being mindful at the same time, and that's the way it kind of impresses the subconscious mind. So it gets the creative juices going and in a positive direction, and then all day you're polarized there, you know. And so it's so worth it, especially now. I've got so many things going on in my life, you know, moving today, but I just got to remember to breathe and just realize that I'm blessed, really, to have made it through what I've made it through, and now you know nothing can break me. The only one that could deplete my energy is myself if I allow it,
Ah,
and
there we
I
go.
don't
Yep.
want to allow myself to
Exactly.
deplete my energy and eat it up, consume it. That is not for sale. That is not on the table. That is not for consumption. My energy has to be used properly, you know. So I'm
Yes.
just, yeah, man, I'm
Yes.
glad that
Yeah,
you
man.
threw the mindful one my way, because I really have to practice more mindfulness and gratitude, and be polarized in love and thoughts of abundance.
Very well said. And with the mindfulness, staying ultra present in the moment is a huge skill and an
Yeah.
art and hard to do, but the more you do it, the more, it works for you. But always constantly, checking yourself when you're going to a thought, about the future or the past, and be like,
Yeah.
no, right here.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that matters right
Yeah.
here.
Right here, right now.
Prepare for the
Breathe.
future and stuff
Yeah.
and build towards the future.
Yeah. But
Stay
worry,
present
doubt,
in
and
this
fear,
moment.
worry, doubt, and fear will not serve you anything but bullshit.
No.
Yeah,
You know, you don't want
that's
to
the
grow
candy the
that.
devil serves to you. He's like, here, take, worry about
Yeah,
this.
man.
Yeah.
And it could start you down the wrong path. There's two paths. There's your higher self that leads to, purifying your mind and heart, blessedness. And then there's your lower self, that wretched bastard that I want, I need, fuck that,
That drags you down. Yes.
drags you down to hell.
And you said
Yeah.
you mentioned the neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself. I'm going to throw this one at Brandon, those new neural connections, rewiring the brain through more positive experiences, learning, practice, engaging in new activities, and reshaping your brain. Brandon, what do you got? What do you got on that, buddy? I know you got something good.
Self-imposed adversity, right? Self-imposed adversity, so that you make
Yes.
those tough guy channels, so that your neuroplasticity is there. And study is necessary, right? Like you have to study the greats. You have to do that so that you have those great neuroplasticities in there too, that's taken from the greats and building these great lines. And as Aaron was saying, definitely cutting out the negative neuroplasticity. And I can tell you, like, when I lost my kid, I was just sitting there rewriting this loop of I mean, it's like I can almost look back at it now, turn my eyeballs around and look back at that history where I was just stuck in this rut of continuous neuroplasticity writing in the negative
That
direction
loop.
of the loss, of the worry, of the fear, and the big question mark being that she wasn't totally the part of her that came from me is dead, but there was still a body walking around. So I just let that worry of what her situation was overcome me, and it completely ruined my life. As long as I stayed there, I was not, and by whatever percentage, and everybody in this room has helped me get through that. But whatever percentage I've been unable, as Patrick was saying this morning, to let go, was not helpful at all. It was it's been a huge anchor. It's still there, as I rise, as a hot air balloon rises, I can kind of feel that anchor still there, and I've cut most of those negative neuroplasticity. And that's the thing, is like when you're in that negativity, it can go nuclear on you. When you're going in that positive direction, which can also go nuclear on you, you're really setting yourself up for a nuclear fail, so anyone listening to this, I hope, will come away from it really being very surgical, as you have said in the past, AK, about your life and about getting rid of those negative thoughts and just really creating that positive neuroplasticity. And I would figure that just like muscle, the hardest challenges, the hardest things to let go, the hardest overcomings in that emotional, mental, metaphysical space are going to build the hardest lines of neuroplasticity, and I know that's a fact because I started, just not to dwell, but I started out being locked up in this Kids for Cash scheme by my mother. So getting out of that and getting away from that and saying no, 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 and seeing all these bad examples that I don't want to be like, because you could just flip the switch on that if that's all you've got. If you're just in a bad place and everything's bad and that's all okay, go the opposite direction and learn about the law of polarity. And that's why I say just the reading from the greats has been really heavy for me, and getting those tools have been really heavy for me. The solo mission where I just me in the mirror and I face the fact that I really do have these demons and I really do have this utter pain that I won't let go of, and just saying you have to, the minute this thought comes into your head, you have to just knock it out of there, and building that strength is got to be a very similar strength to the muscle fibers. This neuroplasticity, it works the same way in plants. Like if I take one species of plant and I put it in a ravine, and I take that same species of plant and I put it on top of the hill where it's getting hit with wind and all these elements and stuff, you've got two different, and this species might normally not grow bark, but now it is because of the resistance that it's, so we should be putting our kids through some sort of like neuroplasticity, strength building thing, but unfortunately now kids are just their weaknesses are being catered to, just like you just said, man. Like the devil's got all the candy, doesn't he? And he's giving it, and everybody's taking the candy,
Yep.
and it's just like, dude, you have to learn to that the sugar's bad for you. You know what I mean? And hopefully you have a mentor. And this is why mentors are needed. If you study nature, I'll tell you right now, you put any baby of anything out there in nature without a mentor, it's done. That creature is over. It's not living very long at all, right? If it's a bit, so you need a mentor to a certain degree. It just makes perfect sense. As Isaac Newton says, he's never saw further than standing on the shoulders of giants. And it's just like, so, and I tell people, get into the Winners Club, which is the gym, the first hour that it's open, and just get in there and murder, and find
Yep.
yourself a mentor in there that's also finding you because of how hard you're working and how hard
Right.
you want it. And that's what
Yeah.
that's what a real person is going to really respect you on, is the real work and the real zig when the herd is zagging. That's what's going to set you apart, So while everybody's eating the candy and drinking the beers and doing the party and escaping what you're doing, I think with the understanding that you're building a weak set of negative neuroplasticity routes that are going to be a groove of the record that the needle is going to be hard to jump out of at some point, and could turn into a whirlwind black hole where you're in a tailspin. What are you going to do? You've really got to be careful here, because you see so many people go out. I lost two little brothers on the same day, on February 1st, 2019. And this was actually, I can really look back and look at this, and this was that. They wrote these neuroplastic lines of addiction and avoiding the hard truths and avoiding the hard acts, and they're gone. And they were young, yeah, right. So um I think when I think of all of this, you know, letting go, sitting there doing the self-analyzation, making sure that you're committed to constantly putting self-imposed adversity. And we just were discussing just before we hit the record button this morning, is just like, if you're getting a tap on the shoulder from the universe, to do something, or if you feel super inclined to do something, but fear is the option that you take, you're writing, you're writing lines of pussy, really, and you're not going to be respected by anyone who's you're not going to get where you're supposed to get in life just because you're weak. And
Right.
yeah, and you're going to find yourself in the company of other weak souls, and that's just not a good place to be, because really, if as Einstein says, pay attention to nature, you'll understand everything better. All species Did you lose me? Or we
Yeah,
having-
like the last like 30 10 seconds.
Okay, I would say that all living life, right, it has 80%, 70 to 80% water in it. That's why it's living. And it came here to get, it has also these other statistics that are true. It came here very first to get strong. Get strong. That's your first agenda, is to get strong.
Yep.
So many people missing that step, and I'm sure that in the neuroplastic realm of neuroplasticity, that step is also just as vital, right? So you need to be strong in every way, mentally, physically. Put the oxygen mask on yourself before you try to start helping anyone else.
Yes.
Am I here?
Yep.
Okay, did that one come out? So yeah,
Yep. It's good, dude.
okay. Torch passed.
Right on. I'm gonna give Kevin here something. So emotional intelligence, understanding and managing one's emotions, empathizing with others. Neuroscience studies indicate that emotional intelligence is linked to specific brain regions involved emotional processing and social cognition. By developing emotional intelligence skills like self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, social skills, individuals can cultivate healthier relationships, and it just leads to a more fulfilling life. So, Kevin, if you want to just add anything on that, self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, anything you want, anything that comes to mind there.
Well, I got something on this whole thing, which kind of all ties in together, and it's funny because
Beautiful.
I've went through all this before, and I wish I had my book with all my other stuff in it. But basically, if you look at anything, it's and I was explaining this to someone else the other day actually, and like everything, like electricity, water, it all takes a certain path, right? And it's the same thing with our brains, how our brains are wired, and the leading cause of shit getting fucked up or not going the right way is all inflammation, and it's like putting your fingers on a hose and holding it up and building pressure. So everyone says go with the flow. It's all your pathways in your brain, and they're all flowing and they're all doing the things. If you have inflammation on a certain part of the brain, you'll start losing blood flow to your arms, you'll start losing blood flow to your feet, and that's when you start having issues and problems. And it's not, you could have a sore knee and it has nothing to do with your knee or your bones or anything like that. It has to do with your brain and the flow that it has to send blood there, or transmitters to actually fix it. So it's the same thing with stress. It's the same thing with your diet, with what you eat. Certain foods, they'll give you serotonin and they'll give you dopamine and give you all the feel goods, but they'll build up and build up and build up and cause inflammation. And if you don't have the other part of your diet, or you're not doing exercise to get those to flow to the right spots, or to change pathways, I guess is what it is, it can build up. They actually say EPA and omega-3s help with that a lot, with breaking that down. But yeah, for me, it's you put water into a river and you throw rocks in it and you throw rocks in it. It's always gonna find a way. It's just gonna it's gonna take longer to get there. So the more inflammation, or the less stress that we take out of a situation, the easier that it's going to flow. So yeah, if you can, it's hard to try to explain exactly. Yeah,
Oh, I
I
get
mean,
it.
it's all right. I'm trying to, like, you picture a brain and you got all these pathways, right? And
Yep.
the neuroplasticity and stuff is basically letting it bend, or letting it open up, like letting these pathways open up a little bit more so that you can get more blood flow. You can get your stream of water flows better, right? And like anything, like the easier shit flows, the less resistance you have to everything else, right? If you have
Exactly.
plants, if you have plants down the river and you got water coming down, you know, you put a dam up, the plants will get a little bit of water. They'll grow slowly. So it's the same thing as anything in your body. You know, your limbs, your this, your that. Other sections of your brain that could open up to learning better. It's, you know, it's all these pathways could be plugged up or small streams. So there's lots of different ways, like rewiring your brain is basically I mean, creating either new pathways to learn new things. So, you know, another jaunt off the river, or another plant down there that you're going to feed a little bit more water. It's the same thing. So neuroplasticity, opening up the waterways or opening up the flow in your brain to new things, to grow something downriver is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the essence of the growth mindset, really.
Yeah.
And you were saying, yeah, water and electricity will always take the path of least resistance. And that's the problem with the people out there and their ways of thinking. They just go to what's, you know, been working for them, or, you know, the easy thought process, the established wired thought process in their brain, and not, well, not really diving into rewiring it to something more favorable that works for you if it's not working for you, you know. And then that, what you were just saying, it's like where a river carves into the landscape. You know, it takes a while for that river to form a bend, form a bank, all that stuff. And that's where the work is, though, right? So
Well,
that
that's exactly it.
neuroplasticity.
There's a If you've seen it, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was like this little video, right? And the guy's like, he's on a beach and he cuts a little hole in the beach with the water and he transfers it to the other water. It's like a little river, but it does it
Oh
on the beach.
yeah,
I'll have to, you know, and he opens it up a little bit and he spends all this time opening up the sand and opening up the sand and he starts getting the trickle and he starts getting the trickle. And then once it starts flowing, it turns into like this massive ass river that's just like flowing out of control. And they're like, what did you do that for? But it's like
yeah,
the same thing, right? It's like you put the
right.
work in, you put the work in, you put the work in, you put the work in, and next thing you know, you have it's flowing out of control. So it's the same thing with your brain. The same
I
thing.
think I know what you're
You,
talking about. Yeah, he pissed a lot of
yeah,
people off with that. I think it was like a high tide thing when the tides got real high and then it was raging.
yeah, it was insane. But if you look at that, it's like the same thing, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
Where bridges and rivers get out of control is when, you know, you start opening them up. You know, you put a dam up. What do dams do? The dams can either, you know, you either trickle it out and it's like high flow, high force, and creates a certain power. But when the freaking it blows up, you fucking wash out and kill a whole fucking town. It's just like I don't know how you you know what I mean.
No,
I'm trying.
I definitely know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, I mean, and the human brain is like clay, you know. You can form it to how you want it, but you just gotta put the work in, and you have to realize you have to have that mindfulness, that awareness to pick out those thought patterns, the ways of thinking that don't work for you, you know. As far as if you are having trouble in your life, if life's a struggle, you know, if a life is a struggle, then man, I think that's like the number one indicator for us humans to be like, all right, what's going on here? There's something right here, and it can't be the outside world. You know, that even though that's what people love to blame is everything but themselves. So yeah, all these principles were great. You know, they underscore the importance of integrating knowledge about the brain, learning about the brain, and then using that, viewing it through the lens of personal development practices that, you know, optimize our mental health, that cognitive function I talk about, and just living a more fulfilling and purposeful life, like
Yeah,
what we're doing here.
I've got something
Patrick,
here
please
for you
go.
guys.
I know
Well,
Aaron's got to go here in a
yeah,
few,
but
and we're just
being consciously aware of positive energy and its even distribution. Okay, you can't
see you, buddy.
you have to have a very constant, even distribution and an open flow to your brain and to your thoughts and then to your action. If you're focusing on one thing, if you're focusing and got your all your thoughts on one thing, it's blocking your other, it's blocking everything else that your brain really wants to put attention to, right? So
Yeah.
you're having a very open attention span to your surroundings and your world, right? And having, like Kevin says, I call it like an open flow, an open even flow, positive energy, right? To your body, to your mind, and to your soul, right? You really have to find the calmness to to relax, take some time and take a breath. Like, honestly, take a breath and relax and be grateful. So you're getting constant flow to your body and not focusing. And it's actually, I had a nerve pinch in my back the other day, and I was going through some stress with somebody. And so I sat down and I'm like, this is because I'm thinking way too much about, I was stressed. So I sat down, I thought about all the good. I thought about my back healing. I went to physio, and the thing went away. It went away, and it was very painful. It was very painful. But like Kevin's saying, if you're closed off and you're focusing on just on one thing, and you're not open flow, high frequency flow, you're going to run into stagnation, and you're going to run into you know that place of being closed off. So I mean, if that kind of helps you guys a little bit, that's where finding that little bit of
straight up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
straight up scientifically proven multiple times that it's all inflammation. It's all caused by inflammation. So and stress.
yeah.
So
Beautiful, dude.
stress kills. So why does stress kill? Stress kills because of inflammation. Inflammation is resistance, a buildup, a kink in your fucking hose, right?
Yeah.
It's all over your body. It's the same thing all over, and your brain waves. It leads to depression. It leads to chronic stress. It leads to everything if you let it go. And like it's crazy how much science there actually is in this. Like your straight up diet with all your
100%.
inflammation. You could eat something, you could eat a turkey, or you could eat certain foods, and that can actually cause you stress and build up and inflammation and hurt your freaking body just by that. So you have to it's
Yes.
crazy. Like simply exercising transfers freaking carbs, and like same thing with carbs and stuff. Like we all know that, right? That you eat freaking a shit ton of carbs, it'll build your fucking body up. Or you could eat a shit ton of carbs and you'll feel really good about it, but then it turns into inflammation, and then it doesn't do fuck all, and it transfers into
Yeah.
transfers into stress. Anyways,
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
that inflammation. Boom. I like that. That's good. You're right.
Wow, it's like
That's an important point.
Yeah.
very, very important point.
Mhm.
It's right back to the loop. It's right back to keeping your it's like keeping your well-tuned machine. Keeping a well-tuned machine. Don't let it rust. you know, as soon as you start, it starts to rust, you're getting stagnation. You have to keep things moving in a constant flow of positive motion, and really turn in like that hate button. The hate button is deadly, so deadly. The hate button. It is
Really
so
is.
powerful and
Poison.
makes you feel so shitty when you should be actually loving. You should actually,
Such
you know,
poison. Yep.
And when I would
love
venture to,
conquers. Pardon me?
I was just gonna say, I would venture to say that if you have an extreme injustice in your life, which causes extreme hate, that if you can
Oof.
overcome that, it's just like overcoming the weight on the bar in the gym, right? You're
Oh, it
okay.
is.
And
It
then
is.
God and the angels above are like, right on, dude. Yeah. Just like we are for each other in the gym, like good job.
Yeah.
You got that up. You
Oh,
overcame that.
Yes.
yeah, for sure, for sure. It's like the shaken up Coke bottle or shaken can up, and you crack the can, you let all that pressure out. You know what I mean? Let it go. Let that
Yep.
shit go, right? And the feeling of you get like right now, I'm loving someone. I'm loving someone no matter what. Whatever happened with us. And I feel such at peace by just like, you know what? I'm just gonna love her anyways. We had a lot of good moments. We had a lot of good times. A lot of good things were said. And I'm not going to dwell on the shitty parts. And she said this to me. She's like, take our time and look at it, please. Then take out the good moments and, she said, have our good memories. And I was like, whoa. So she's, we're trying to really be connected without being connected. And that's the magic. That's the magic of actually putting out the love and the good without even being connected. And that's peace and harmony. Like for your soul.
Yep.
For your soul, like your inner soul. If you can actually like, you know what? I love her anyways. I'm going to take all the good that we had, all the good, and love her anyways. Do you know how powerful that is? That is so powerful. It is. You can't put it into words.
No.
Because that's inner strength. And then the universe will send that message. Right? And then you're at peace instead of hate. Instead of frustration and hate and that, which I'm just, that's the part that you let go. Let that go. And then what a blessing for her to say that to me too. And I was like, oh damn. I was like, good girl. I was like, good. I was like really proud that she said it to me too. That I was like, okay, well, I get it. You know what I mean? So take the good. Humans are so bent on focusing on the bad. What is good is going on? Keep that open flow into good state, man. Like life's too short. Life's too bloody short, right?
Yeah, getting hung up on the
So
dumb shit. Yep.
yeah, don't get hung up on the dumb shit. I mean, man, really try to, really make an effort. I don't like the word try. Make an effort to look at the good.
Well, one
Stay
thought
calm and
coming
look
to
at.
me, if
Yeah.
you is sometimes you'll get that call from God and you'll face it, but that other person's not ready, and so
Yep.
they're not answering their call from God. And the magic for all of us is in the work that we don't want to do. And we may hear that scream, but we deny it for so long, and then we just become in a state of denial. And then so sometimes you might act on your call, but that person's in that state of denying that call, and you can't control that. And so at that point, this is the test where you must say to yourself, not so much that you tried, but you answered your call. You did answer your call, and they just weren't ready
Yep.
for it. You know what I mean? So now it's time to move on and to let go of that idea, right? I think when I honestly analyze my situation, the reason that it took me so long is because I was receiving a call to be this, and this, right? And I was doing my part of that call, but the other person was not answering their call. And so I felt as though I should keep doing my call anyway. But that's not, that I have learned through drastic experience is precisely, I mean, if we're going to learn surgery here of life, is precisely the point where things started going very negative for me, you know? So that key word we've come up with many times in previous episodes of patience, to maybe plant your seed and come back to, you know, answer your call. But if it doesn't want to grow, you need to just step back and answer another call, you know, for a while.
I completely get where you're coming from, and I completely agree with you on that as well. I'm looking, and I'm partly looking at that way in that direction as well, but also looking at in a way of universal love. Yes, I answered the call. Okay. Yes, I answered the call. At the same time, leaving it like completely wide open, like loving no matter what, but not so direct, and just being like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to love the situation for whatever good or bad is there, and just smother it with fucking good. Smother it with good, and take away that take away my resentment, smother it with good, because that's what the universe is telling me to do.
That's high level, man. That is the right thing to do, and it's high level, and you have to really respect a person who's doing that. You know, you really do. You really have to respect and appreciate that, I feel.
And it's you know what? It's because of this work that I'm able to start to do that.
Yep.
Totally. And I respect anyone
instills
who's
that
out
worth.
there putting the
Yep.
work in.
You know, finding your
Beautiful.
soul, and just putting it out there and being like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to think about good, because all the other resentment and all the hate and the mongering and all that is not healthy.
Doesn't
It's not
do anything.
what I'm saying. It's not healthy for the universe or the world. Period.
Nobody.
It's not healthy
Nobody.
for nobody, man. Those are all big
Yes.
boulders and rocks that you're throwing in your
Thank
fucking
you.
river, dude.
That's garbage that
Yeah,
needs to be
that's
thrown into
resistant.
outer space.
Every single one of those is
Right?
resistance. Resistance to
Yeah,
good is what it is. It's resistance to good.
resistance, and like being free of the quicksand, just like escaping that whole thing, and just being like, you know what? It's just too pure. Finding that purity of just being like, hey, and then that, you know what? That's felt. It's felt. The universe, as soon as it is so profound.
Yeah.
When you do that, when you get up and you actually do that and you take a moment, the profound wave that will come over you is, you cannot put it into words. You cannot put it into words. There's no explaining it.
Nope.
And it just goes woof. Like, it's just, and it's not always going to be there. But when you can do it and work at it and put that out there, it's just straight purity and love, And you guys know me. I'm not tiptoeing through the tulips. I like to, I'm a rough around the edges and tough and this and that. But at the end of the day, when you put out pure love, it's like when you love somebody to the full and you put that in the universe, and then that's it. That's it. And it's like, well, that's all I can do. That's all I can do is put out that
So-
full blanket of love. And then the universe just goes, whoa, and just like delivers this sense of like, whoa, that is powerful.
Well, I think
Like,
I think resentment and shit like that is like you trying to take it back from the universe.
yes,
It's like it's like the
Yes.
universe gave you this person and gave you this love and gave you this good time and gave you all this, and you took it and you enjoyed it, and then the universe was like, okay, next one, and took it back from you, and you're like, no, fuck you, give it back, I'm pissed. Like, fuck you, let it go, give me another one. Let's go,
Yes.
give me another one.
yeah,
So true.
yeah,
Resentment is
and
trying to take your shit back from the fucking universe.
yeah.
Why did you take this from me? Why did you take this from me? Fuck you, I'm giving you something else, you little prick. Hey, it's like the fucking kids you give the kid sitting there and he's ate his
Oh,
whole fucking
shit.
ice cream and he's got a little bit of ice cream left and he's sitting there and you grab the ice cream cone from him because you got a big ass motherfucking cone ready to give to him and he's like, fuck you, why are you fucking taking this away from me? And you're like, if you shut up, you little prick, look what I got for you.
Oh, that is straight
That was
fire.
a perfect analogy. That was a perfect analogy, bro.
Give me
Well,
my
once
fucking
again,
ice
dude,
cream.
we have dropped another high level freaking thing here, man.
Holy buddy, yes. Thank you for capping that off for me. Thank you very much for
Yep.
the analogy. The analogy was beautiful. So
Well, it's
so,
back to
yeah.
what you were saying, bro. It's because we're putting the work in that we're able to get to these conclusions.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't want to put a mastermind together with a bunch of liars, or a bunch of ill-intended
Yeah.
fools, and it's
That
a
wouldn't
master.
last long.
Yeah, exactly. And this
No.
mastermind is just getting better and better and better, and that could almost be a cosmic neuroplasticity in itself. It is. I'm sure it is.
Oh,
100% it is.
100%.
Scientifically fucking proven, my friend.
Hell yeah.
universal practice.
And I mean,
Like,
in the scope of consciousness, isn't this what God's waiting for? For everyone to join the all-in mastermind, to put
Exactly.
to go all in
Yes.
within, and just be a conscious movement in that way.
and it's funny because when you put out that energy, and you
Get it back.
escape. Yeah, yes. But you're escaping all that resentment. Like your mind, your flow, that lock that we were talking about, that lock is open. It just goes like this. It goes, zzz, it just twists open and separates like this and just poof. It's like the flow of the river, man. That
Whoa.
flow of the river. And it's like, whoa, right? Instead of being locked up in hate and resentment.
Yeah. Like this,
That's a danger.
So
It's a dangerous
liberating
place.
release.
I have a proverb
Yeah.
to say on this too, right? So there's a fish in the river, and he got smacked against some rocks, and he got pissed, and he was like, "This river is not controlling me no more," right? And he's learned how to swim against the current, and he becomes strong. He became strong, the strongest fish in the river, and he was just like, "You don't control me anymore," and he won. He won, and he lived his whole life strong, proud, and died right there in that same place in the river. There's this whole sea of wonderment down at the bottom of the river. This is almost as good as the ice cream cone, right? But he didn't get there. He didn't get there because
Yeah.
he wanted to show the river who was boss. So strength is good to a certain degree, but at some degree, you've got to stand back and say, wait a minute, what is really going on here? What are the deeper levels of the onion, layers of the onion? What's the next level? What's the next level I can push to? And not just in this direction, but in all directions. And what's the next level that maybe I can't push to, but maybe I can take my push off to just rock, to flow to ride the wave to,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And so I think it's that
100%.
gas accelerator relationship comes down to just straight wisdom and experience. And if that's not something you feel that you have on that racetrack, then that's where you turn to a mentor who does, you know,
You just
and
said it
who
right
has
there.
been
The
through.
racetrack. Grabbing another gear. Grab the next gear.
That was all
Yeah.
for you, dude. That was all for you,
Thank
Chop Shop.
Thank you.
And if
Amazing.
you're in a Chop Shop car, well, then you don't have any problems at all.
So head on down to Billy Bill's Chop Shop and spend your money with me.
That was awesome, dude.
Good stuff,
Get off
guys.
your
Great on.
wallets. All right.
Yeah.
All
So,
right, guys.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I got a dip.
This was another excellent episode. Thank you, AK.
The nuts and bolts, the neuroscience, breaking it down.
Yeah.
At least
Fuck
our
yeah,
style, but the All In Within crew holding it
Thank
down
you
once
for being
again.
here.
Peace.
Be great.
We'll
Be
be back
grateful.
again. Peace.